welcome to day 134. We've got First Chronicles chapters 22 to 24 and First Thessalonians chapter 3. Now, David is getting what are called resident aliens in my translation to cut stone for the temple. Most likely, these are the indigenous Canaanites, the people who have lived in the area of Israel, what we call Israel today, for an exceedingly long time. So some people, some scholars believe that David is having vassals, people who are pledging support to David, but not part of the Israelite community, to do some of the hard work of collecting the supplies for building the temple. All through here, we're going to be seeing how David is collecting a massive amount of supplies so that Solomon can get started building the temple very quickly. As we read through, it seems that we have a very clear succession plan here. Solomon is next in line. Solomon will build the temple to honor God, and David is blessing Solomon. Now, as we go through here, there's an emphasis that David has the military victory and that Solomon will build the rituals and the spiritual side of the life of Israel. Now, Chronicles is really concerned with the ritual life, we get a list of Levites and their religious duties. This is all setting Solomon up for a peaceful reign, but it does not always align with other texts such as 1 Kings or 2 Samuel. The succession doesn't appear so simple in other places. There are other details. We've already seen some of them in our reading of 2 Samuel. Now, you'll remember there were different people with different agendas writing at different times. The writers of Chronicles were probably trying to reinforce the authority of the temple and the authority of the Levites and priests who are organizing the religious life of the community. Now, the actual first temple was more modest than this makes it sound, especially King Herod really built up the second temple in a really majestic way. And what we have here is a much smaller leap from the tent or tabernacle to the first temple. As you go through here, keep in mind the relationship between Moses and Joshua as we think about the relationship between David and Solomon. Moses and Joshua have kind of remembered as a golden age for the time of Israel as they moved through the wilderness and moved into the promised land. David and Solomon here are being set up as a golden age of the time of the monarchy. That there is a divine succession that legitimizes Solomon as the successor to David. When we look at Thessalonians, Paul is acknowledging that the new believers are facing a lot of troubles and struggles. He continues his encouragement. Paul is unable to visit the Thessalonians, even though he wants to, but he sends Timothy to check on them, to encourage them, to instruct them, and to bring news back. Timothy reports that the believers are strong in their faith and love, and Paul is affirming this. So this is really a beautiful chapter of encouragement and support, really building on our previous reading. Paul is staying in touch. He is bolstering the new believers. And I think this is something, as I said in our last reading, that we really need to spend more time giving thanks and encouraging others and spend less time grumbling and complaining. Whatever troubles we think we have, Christian believers have faced troubles throughout history. Paul faced tremendous troubles. The Thessalonians are facing troubles. Paul is really reminding us not to focus on the troubles, but to look for the hope, look to the future, rest in God, rest in the promises of Jesus, and encourage each other as we step forward each day. So go with encouragement today, and we'll see you next time.